Hi everybody, I'm Origosis. Welcome to the Yet to Be Named show. That's not a witty name. I just honestly haven't thought of a name for the show yet. We're going to be talking about just a few minor things today. We're going to be talking about a computer build, a new video card that's been announced, and some of the upcoming Intel CPUs. Well, let's get right into it. Let's start talking about a computer build. This is from Reddit, the Buildapc community. If you don't know about the Buildapc community over on Reddit, if you don't know about Reddit, well, I feel ashamed. You probably know about Reddit. Anyways, Buildapc is a place where people come and they present ideas for different components they put together for a PC build, or request assistance for the PC build and different things like that. There's also sub-communities to this where you can ask someone to build a PC for you, and you can post pictures of even your desk. That's called battle stations. Anyways, over here we have a build I picked out today, thanks to user Richgart here. It's a $200 gaming machine meant for some light gaming. He's named it his TF2 and Minecraft machine. Clearly his intentions are to play some Team Fortress 2, Minecraft, and probably a few other things on there. It's a pretty standard build. CPU, motherboard, memory, storage, case, and power supply. Oh, you know what? Let me go over a few things real quick. About standard PC builds. It's common knowledge in many of the PC building communities, but it's pretty common that when you're building a PC, you assume you're bringing your own LCD, keyboard, mouse, speakers, headset, and whatever else you think you need to have with the PC, aside from the basic components of the PC. Now, not always. Some people consider a build to be all of that included. For the sake of argument, most PC builds I will be presenting on this show are just going to be the basics: CPU, motherboard, RAM, hard drive, case, power supply. Generally, CD-ROM drive and things like that aren't included in those builds, but if that's something you don't have or something you can't pull out of another build, then you would add the $20, $30, $40 or Blu-ray $50, $60 you would consider needed to be in that build. So, just again, for the sake of argument, these are the bare bones basic builds. Processor, motherboard, RAM, hard drive, case, power supply is all that's going to be included in these builds. Okay? All right, so let me pop back over to this build here. Let's just hop over. They use a site called PC Part Picker. I believe that's a site written by a Reddit user. Anyways, here it is. Oops, I'm sorry. That is the wrong build. That's a spoiler right there. Yes, this is a nice, comes with a dual-core processor running at 3.4 gigahertz. Not that the gigahertz mean a lot these days, but I won't get into that. $50 motherboard, $50 CPU, about $30 for 4 gigs of RAM. Has a 250 gigabyte hard drive for $47, the Haswell Ranger case for $40, and the power supply, an Anandtech 350 watt, ringing in at $29.99. Now that CPU, that's really the heart of the system here, and what helps to keep its price so low is because the AMD A4 comes with a built-in video card. Now, a lot of the Intel ones do too, and honestly, I don't know how this compares to the Intel ones, but what's nice about a lot of the AMD A4s, A8s, I think there's an A6 in there also, is they come with some pretty high-end video cards compared to normal built-in video cards. This one in particular has a 7480D. Now, I don't know how that compares to the Intel HD series cards, but let's just focus on this card specifically for the moment. I'm going to use Passmark here. You guys may not like synthetic benchmarks, but this is just to give us a ballpark idea as to how this card performs. Now, on this page, it falls into the... scores a 463. If you want to get an idea where that stands amongst other video cards, if you own something like a 7870, that scores a 4,000. Oh, excuse me. 7970 scores a 5,000. 7870 is a pretty high-end video card that most people have thrown into their machines. I believe that falls around the $250, $200 $220 range just for that card alone. And remember, this entire PC is $200. So it's not a very powerful card. But again, his intentions were just to play Team Fortress 2 and Minecraft, which I can tell you this card will probably do. I happen to have a laptop. I don't have any benchmarks to show you. It's just all hearsay and anecdotal stuff at the moment. But I used a laptop back in the day that had the 4200M. I'm sorry, I'm not finding it. 4200M, where are you? Wow, okay. Control F, 4200. There it is. Okay. It scores a 362 on this same chart, and I can tell you now that the 4200M will play Minecraft, Team Fortress 2, World of Warcraft, Rift. If you haven't heard of that, it's another MMO. It will play those on very, very, very low settings. Some of them you can jack up a little bit, but it will play those games and play them at fairly acceptable frame rates, at least acceptable to someone who, wants to go in and play at a low budget. How well does it play them? World of Warcraft, it'll play low just fine. It'll play Rift at an acceptable level with everything turned down. If you've ever played Rift before, it has the low render engine, a whole separate setting in the game that really brings graphics down, but gives you a bit better performance. And if you don't get better performance out of it, you at least get a bit smoother performance, less drops out of it when you get to those raids and doing the actual rifts in Rift. Another user on the Buildapc website here linked to Notebook Check, a site which I regularly check, and I forgot to check with this card. In fact, I wasn't thinking about it because it's a desktop CPU. But anyways, it does show up on here on Notebook Check, and they've benchmarked it against specific games. Look, even BioShock Infinite, with everything turned down, 45 frames per second. Oh, look, they even give you the specs right there. 1280 by 720, using just the low preset. No special settings. They just use the low preset in there. You can get away playing StarCraft on low. Actually, it blows it away, 146 FPS playing StarCraft 2 on low. SimCity, you can get away with playing that. You actually that's the kind of game where you could get away with 15. I assume you can get away with 15, maybe 10 frames per second because there's not a lot of action involved there. Tomb Raider is benchmarked on here. Crysis, look at that. Oh, I'm sorry. Crysis 3 is not playable on this card. But you got Dead Space 3 here coming in at 31 frames per second. That's an acceptable frame rate in my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion on that. I'm going to call 30 frames per second an acceptable frame rate for a first-person shooter. Far Cry 3 plays at 25, depending on how badly you want to play it. That could be an acceptable frame rate. I've played a few at 20, and depending on the game, that's acceptable. Black Ops 2, that's a big one for a lot of people right there. 30 on medium, 49 on low, and a bunch of other games here. Look at that. Even blows Counter-Strike Go away on high at 50 frames per second, and you got Diablo running in at high at 30 frames per second. World of Warcraft medium at 64. So as you can see, this $200 build right here is a pretty darn acceptable build. It's going to play all those games. Granted, on low. Some of them, like Far Cry 3, only ringing in at 25, but that's a pretty acceptable frame rate when you've only spent $200 on your system. Let's look at some of the other components here. Again, we've only got 4 gigs of RAM here. That doesn't really affect its gaming performance that much. That's just going to affect its multitasking capabilities. If you want to have, say, running a game in windowed mode, and having running the game in windowed mode and having a browser window open or 2 or 3, and maybe even having a video running or Netflix running, it'll probably do it okay, but you might hit a few frame drops in your game. It won't do it as well as 8 gigs will, of course. That's like a Madden saying right there. If you had double the power, it would work. Well, of course, if you had double the RAM, it would work. But again, we're trying to keep the build cheap here. They're trying to keep the build under at $200, and that's what they did with 4 gigs RAM, which is a perfectly acceptable amount of RAM for a $200 computer. Next, we got the hard drive here. This is the one thing I don't like about it. 250 gigabytes, but that's not bad. If all you're looking to do is throw 5, 6, 7 games on here, depending on the types of games you want, that will hold those games. If you're big into MMOs, each one of those games is going to take 20 to 30 to 40 gigs each, so you're not going to fit too many MMOs on here. But again, he built this with Team Fortress 2, Minecraft, and probably other games similar to that in mind. They're not going to be using much more than less than a gig up to 10 gigs each. So you'll fit quite a few games on there. Depending on the type of games you're looking to play, you could fit a lot of games on there. But I'll get to it later. Someone did come up with a build with a larger hard drive for only a few dollars more. It comes with a nice case, the Haswell Ranger. As of right now, this is Sunday, April 28th. I'm recording this. The Haswell Ranger M case is on sale for $19.99 with free shipping. That is a great deal. If by chance that deal has ended by the time you see this, that's only going to raise the cost of this from $200 to about $220 for the build. If everything else on this build isn't on sale, it's only going to raise it maybe up to $250, $260. Still an acceptable price for this build, but once you've hit the $260 range, you might want to look elsewhere for a different build. Again, on Reddit's Buildapc, go there and check with them, or use this PC Part Picker website to put together a nice build for yourself. But as of this recording, this is a pretty good build right here, and a nice standard Anandtech 350 watt power supply. This is a great little power supply. It is more than enough power for this build, and it will provide more than enough power for when they want to pick up, say, $100, $150, maybe a $200 video card. Even if, now, don't take my word for it, you could blow your computer up, well, fry your power supply. But if you have a nice quality card here, let's say you pick up a video card that says you need to have 500 watts in your PC. Depending on the card, let's say you're going with a 7850 or something, I think you could squeak by throwing a 7850 into this PC. I could be wrong. I haven't done that myself, but with my experience with nice Anandtech power supplies, you could get by. Don't build that PC. That's a bad idea. Either way, if you're putting a 7850 into a card, you probably already have a nice 500, 600 watt, 750 watt power supply in there anyways. I just wanted to go out on a limb there. Now, the other build I mentioned with the bigger power supply was put together by another user in here. That is Armaranfar. I probably pronounced that wrong. But anyways, he threw a 1 terabyte hard drive in here. Boom. That just threw just about every game you could want at this. Don't get me wrong, some of you could easily probably fill up a 3 terabyte hard drive, but I think for most of us, a 1 terabyte hard drive is more than enough to fit most of our game library onto. And again, it's a $200 PC. And with this thrown in here, I believe that jumps it up to about, $233 after taxes. There's a mail-in rebate there. It's only a $5. Oh, there's $15 in mail-in rebate. So that really does jack it up to about $15. Actually, I think the original build had the $10 mail-in rebate. Okay, I'm sorry. In my opinion, mail-in rebates don't count initially. You do get that money back later. So I would call this a $215 build. This is a $233 build. $243, $250 if you don't count that mail-in rebate. I'm going out on a limb here, but yes, you pay a little bit extra, and you get a nice 1 terabyte hard drive that takes the space issue almost out of the agenda, out of the conversation altogether. All in all, that's a very nice build right there. What more can I say than about it? $200, and you can play just about every game on the market right now. It lets you play just about everything in the gaming. What's nice about a PC is, boom, you play everything in the PC library for the past 3 decades. Will run on that just fine. I shouldn't say just fine. Anything that's at least 6 years old and older, back to the beginning of gaming time, you're going to be able to run on that. So you already have a huge library right there if you look at it that way. All right, so that's enough about that build. I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to cover a little bit about an announcement that occurred this week. That is the AMD Radeon 7990 here. Going to borrow Anandtech's website here just because they got some nice coverage here. I recommend heading over there to see their coverage of this puppy. They've done a full-blown review of it, I believe, with benchmarks and everything. Sorry, I'm scrolling around and I shouldn't be. That's bad camera work. There we go. That's a bit smoother. That's a bit nicer. Anyways, yes, let's just go over the specs on this puppy real quick. It's essentially two 7970s slapped together. You've got two 2048 stream processors in there, two 128 texture units in there, 32 ROPs. You've got a 950 hertz core clock, which it looks like it automatically will speed itself up to the 1 gigahertz over here on the 7970, so you don't have to worry too much about loss in performance there compared to doing a 7970 Crossfire. It's a little bit slower on the boost clock. The 7970 boosts from 1 gigahertz to 1050 megahertz, where this boosts from 950 to the 1 gigahertz. But again, you're not losing too much there, having it all on one board. There's a little bit more efficiency involved compared to a Crossfire, though in some cases the Crossfire will perform better. But again, come to Anandtech's website, check out their benchmarks. They'll break it on down to you, or your preferred website. I'm sure most websites have already benchmarked this card by now. You've got 6 gigahertz DDR5 on there. I believe that's, yes, 3 gigabytes. 2 sets of 3 gigabytes of video RAM, again, because this is two separate 7970s on one board, which the largest, usually compared to Crossfire, you're going to see a few performance differences. Once in a while, you'll see a fluke where the Crossfire performs much better than the double GPU card. In some cases, the double GPU card will perform better than the Crossfired card. In this case, the biggest gain you get is the amount of power required, where if you had two 7970s, you would need over 500 watts of power just for your video cards, not to mention everything else you need for your other components. This puppy's only going to need 375 watts, so you're saving 125 watts. That's not a huge amount, but it is going to put a little bit less wear and tear on your power supply. If you're already putting a build together, you don't need to look at that 1200 watt power supply. Maybe you can step down to the 1000 watt power supply or something like that. You don't need that much overhead for it. Overall, again, it's two 7970 slapped together, and its price comes in at almost exactly that. 7970 is $499. This comes in at $999. So $1,000 for that card. All right. So there's really not too much I want to say about that card. I did not benchmark it myself, so I'm not sure how comfortable I feel going over their benchmarks from Anandtech and other thing like that. Maybe I'll scrape together a few things of how it compared in some games across them. But they did the work to do that benchmarking. Go and check out the benchmarks there. Maybe in the next episode, I'll mention a few of the benchmarks and how it performed. Right now, I don't want to do that. Go check out Anandtech, Tom's Hardware. They both did reviews of that card. Go in and see the data they put together. The next thing I want to go over is the Haswell video cards. There's been a lot of information about the Haswell cards this week. One being that they're finally going to officially announce them in 337,000 quintillion 200 billion nanoseconds. I definitely did not say that right. But anyways, that came out to be about 38 days from that announcement, which was April 26th. So in about a month, it's going to be announced at Computex on June 3rd. June 3rd, yes, right here on CNET's website. And again, I'm scrolling badly, not good camera work here. I do apologize. My first episode here, I will get a bit better at this stuff. Mr. CeeLo Green over here will help me get better at my camera work and website browsing. Anyways, yes, if you haven't heard, the Haswell is the next iteration of the Intel cards. I should have done my research beforehand. That it's every now and then Intel will either shrink their processors, they'll shrink them down, or they'll redesign the architecture. And what they do is they do this tick-tock thing. Now, I can't remember what's tick and what's a tock, but basically tick-tock, tick-tock. What they do is tick, here's a brand new processor. Tock, we shrunk it down, we made it more efficient. Tick, here's a brand new processor. talk. We shrunk it down. We made it more efficient. And about every, I don't know, 8 months, 10 months, 18 months, I don't know the time frame, they do this. They come out with a brand new processor. Then they shrink it down. Then they come out with a brand new processor. Then they shrink it down. This is what this is. We've just had the Ivy Bridge and Sandy Bridge processors have most recently come out. Ivy Bridge being the brand new architecture. Sandy Bridge being the shrinking of the processors. And I'm going off on things I didn't plan on going off on, so I didn't write down notes. I didn't plan this ahead. I know this stuff, but I didn't write it all down so I could speak it smoothly. So I'm going to just end the episode right here before I start putting words in my mouth or going over facts I didn't cover ahead of time. I'm Origosis. This is the Yet to Be Named show. Again, that's not a witty name. I just honestly haven't thought of a name for this show yet. I'm going to be going over the things like CPUs, video cards, computer builds. I'm really going to like the computer builds. I'm going to pick them from our Buildapc mostly. Just going to pick something that sticks out to me. That $200 build looked like a nice build, a nice inexpensive build for the same price of an Xbox, which can only play a few select games. Not to bash Xbox, there's a huge library there, but we can only play a few select games. You can get a computer which will play, 3 decades worth of games for you. We're going to have some other types of discussion going on here. I'll have some guests on once in a while. I don't know what else I'm going to throw in there. Some pictures of kittens, maybe. Anyways, I'm going to end this right now. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, comment down below. On the YouTube channel, anything you didn't like, comment down below. Anything I'd like to add, comment down below, or tweet me with any tips and tricks. This is going to be evolving as I record it. I'm just going to come up with new ideas and put them into the show. I'm going to break the show up into different shows. This is mostly the hardware show, where again, CPUs, video cards, all those the computer parts. We'll also discuss maybe servers or complete things you can buy from Dell, deals from Dell, HP, things like that. We'll talk about those pre-built deals of the week that you can get. I'm going to do another show that's going to involve gaming. That's a yet to be named show about gaming. The yet to be named show about gaming, coming next week or something. I'm not sure how often I'm going to do these shows. I think I'm going to try for once a week for each one. So say every Monday morning you have your hardware show. Every Wednesday morning you have your gaming show. Every Friday morning you have another show. I haven't exactly broken down. I know I do want to do 3 shows. One for hardware, one for gaming, and I do believe one that's going to get more into the just standard news that us gamers would run into. So it'll be a broader spectrum. It's not going to be focused on gaming. It won't be focused on computer parts, but it's going to be within the realm, the world that us gamers would tend to interact with. Saving money. I do apologize. That's right here on this channel. I do want to get into how to save money. It's going to be out there things on how to save money. If you look back at my channel history, I have a show about ramen noodles and how you can unhealthily, dangerously, deadly, live off of ramen noodles for X weeks or months to save money to buy a new game or something. But it's going to be extreme things and fun things like that. We're just going to talk about different ways you can save money as a gamer to buy the next game, to save up for your next computer. We're going to talk about how to save, where you can go to save, websites that'll help you save, and different things like that, and how to find deals and everything. That's what the third show is going to be. Have a part of it, frugality, how to save money and things like that. All right, again, I'm Origosis. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to do more like this, again, more hardware-focused stuff. Comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm rambling on, saying the same thing 3 times. I do apologize again. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Have a good morning. Have a good day. Bye.